To wrap up our meeting today, we have a very special presentation of our 2024 Distinguished Service Awards. I want to welcome, I think they're all here. Yes, it's so nice to see all of you. Our award honorees are as follows, although they do not even need to be named. They're easily recognizable. We have Justice William Bedsworth. We have Judge Terry Friedman. And we have Miss Melissa Fowler Bradley. We also have their families, friends, and colleagues who we welcome here. As you know, the council created these awards 30 years ago to honor dedicated public servants for all of the following: the breadth and impact of their contributions, the nature of the work accomplished, the time expended outside of normal work hours, their diversity and success in surmounting challenges and limitations, and their contributions to advancing the council's strategic goals. Over the past 30 years, the council has honored 119 individuals and 2 organizations for their commitment to these goals and objectives, including their contributions to access, fairness, diversity, and inclusion, which is the council's #1 strategic goal. This afternoon, we celebrate it's not afternoon yet, right? We celebrate 3 extraordinary people who serve as role models to current and future members and leaders of our judicial branch. Their dedication has helped strengthen the public's trust and confidence in our justice system. I'm going to now turn it over to Justice Hill to introduce us to these exceptional awardees.
Thank you very much, Chief. I am very, very honored to be a part of this ceremony today where we're recognizing 3 truly extraordinary people. Our next Distinguished Service Awardee is Judge Terry Friedman. Judge Friedman is a trailblazer who has devoted his life to public service. At every stage of his career, one could easily cast his actions and dedication as exemplifying profiles in courage. In the legislature, he took on the special interests and won. As president of the California Judges Association, he was the leader of that group at a critical time in its history and guided it to new heights. And as a judge, he was known as a compassionate and caring person who was admired by colleagues on the bench and across the state. And as a fellow Judicial Council member, Terry walked the halls of Sacramento on behalf of the judicial branch, where he was greeted like a returning hero by Democrats and Republicans alike. The respect they had for him was immense. Judge Friedman served on the Superior Court of Los Angeles County for 15 years. His career has been defined by a deep commitment to improving the lives of children and families and ensuring fairness and safety within the court system. Judge Friedman's dedication to juvenile justice extended far beyond the bench. He played a key role in the California Blue Ribbon Commission on Children in foster care, helping shape recommendations that improve safety, permanency, and well-being. Judge Friedman also worked to improve access to justice for underserved communities as chair of the Shriver Civil Council Act Implementation Committee. He has worked tirelessly to provide legal representation to low-income individuals, ensuring that those with the greatest need had access to a fair hearing. Let's now turn to a video for more information about Terry and his remarkable career.
When he became a judge, in Los Angeles, they have a tradition of sending new judges to juvenile court. I marked that calendar because he was named Juvenile Court Judge of the Year in 2001 by the Juvenile Court Judges of California. And we monitor legislative efforts to have anything to do with kids. Well, now we had someone that we could turn to. He just had a game plan for the successful passage of legislation. He and I were on, I think, the Blue Ribbon Commission, which was a major effort bringing together 30 or 40 experts from around the state to address best practices in juvenile court. And Terry was right in the middle of writing policy. And Terry had an enormous impact because he got it. He knew what juvenile court was supposed to be.
And then had the opportunity to work with him primarily on the Sergeant Shriver Civil Council Implementation Committee. There were a number of projects, housing, custody, guardianship, that are really designed to address the challenge when one side is represented and the other isn't. So Judge Friedman served on the committee for many years. He was a wonderful person because he had the background in legal services, so understood many of the issues, but also with his experience in the legislature, was also good about listening to everyone in the committee and trying to come up with good solutions. Judge Friedman brought together the understanding of the legal services community and the efforts to try to provide representation for low-income people with the understanding of the court system. Having people who have that focus on how we can make the law work for all people, not just people who can afford attorneys, is incredibly valuable.
First got to know Judge Friedman when I served as Director of Pro Bono Services here at BetCedec. He became a board member once he left the bench, and he has been a board member and at one point the board chair for BetCedec. He, for me, is part of that core group of board members who I rely on. He is incredibly smart and knowledgeable about the law, but he's incredibly empathetic. And so it makes him an incredible partner for the entire community when it comes to access to justice issues. We all in California are very fortunate to have a public advocate like Judge Friedman in our state.
Now to present the award to Judge Friedman, Diego Cartagena, the Director and CEO of BetCedec.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And if I could, Chief Justice Guerrero, it's a true pleasure to be before you and before this council. I've had the pleasure of knowing Judge Friedman, and I usually refer to him as Terry because he is such a down-to-earth individual for 12 years now, going on 13 years. And one of the things that I would like to point out that you heard on the video is he gets it. It is incredibly important for the communities that organizations like BetCedec serves to have individuals on the bench, in the legislature, and on our boards who understand where our clients come from and the struggles that they face. To think of the fact that Judge Friedman was in the juvenile court, and folks may not know this, but Los Angeles has the largest foster care system in the country. It is not New York, it is not other cities, it is Los Angeles. And this was a system that at one point, the courtrooms were in the same building as our criminal courts. And you would have children whose feet could not touch the ground, sometimes sitting next to or very close to criminals in their orange jumpsuits. And it's hard to imagine what these children must be thinking, must be facing, or what their parents must be thinking or must be facing. And so it was incredibly important to have someone like Judge Friedman thinking through these issues and making sure that everyone felt like the courtroom was open for them and that justice would be meted out fairly and with their rights in mind. It's also incredibly important to keep in mind the work that Judge Friedman did with regards to the Shriver Project. Everyone is aware of the justice gap and how we struggle every single day to meet the needs of low-income individuals. To have someone like Judge Friedman, who was the president and CEO of Bethesda for many years and was well aware of what it meant to try to secure legal representation when the question at hand was whether or not you would wake up tomorrow and have a roof over your head, whether or not you as a domestic violence survivor would be able to retain custody of your children, and many, many other legal issues that impact the very core of who you are and what your rights are. We had Judge Friedman leading that charge to make sure that individuals would have access to justice through self-help centers. And there are countless individuals that have gone through those centers and benefited from the work that Judge Friedman put into that project. And it is wonderful for us to be able to call him a colleague and a friend now on the board of Bethesda. I did not exaggerate when I mentioned that he is on my speed dial. He is someone that I rely on for his counsel, his wisdom, his leadership and experience. And when he joins the board meetings, the executive committee meetings, you can see everyone kind of sit up a little bit straighter, and they pay attention to what Judge Friedman says because of that wisdom and experience. And we're all very fortunate for that. So Judge Friedman, Terry, it is my honor to present you with this award.
Afraid I'm going to drop this. So well, it's clearly a spectacular honor for which I am so grateful to receive this beautiful award. I want to thank the chief and the council for selecting me. I have to say, when I received the news, I was a bit mystified. Why me? And this morning has helped confirm some of my suspicions that Bethesda and Diego may have had something to do with it. Justice Hill, my old comrade from CJA and the council, may have had something to do with it. And I thank each of you for your kind and heartfelt words that you expressed this morning. They mean the world to me. So many people to thank. I want to thank not only our current Chief Justice, but Chief Justice George and Chief Justice Kentil Sakauwe, who gave me so many opportunities to serve this branch on the council and on various commissions and committees. I'm very grateful for those opportunities. Thank the outstanding, superlative staff of the Judicial Council. In the course of my career, I've encountered lots of large staffs, and I have to say that the staff of the Judicial Council stands at the top, apart, above all the rest. And I want to pay tribute to the administrative director for most of the years that I was doing this work on the council, Bill Vickery, who was a leader in the effort to expand access to justice in California, and was always very kind and inclusive for me. I want to thank my dear friends who are here today. Hope we didn't cause much of a stir when we came into the room a little bit earlier. But I have very dear friends from decades and decades of my life who are here today to celebrate. So thank you, Katie and Lucian, Kathy and Phil, Connie and Alan, Michelle and Craig. It means the world to me for you to be here today. Mostly I want to thank my family, my beautiful wife and wonderful daughter and son-in-law, Elise, my wife, Kate and Oscar, my daughter and son-in-law. Their kindness, their idealism, their devotion to helping others is always an inspiration to me, and just having them in my life is certainly the most important thing I could ever hope for. I wish my parents were here today, but I guess I'd be a little bit greedy because they would have been 110 years old. But besides giving me all the love that any child or individual could want, they taught me the importance of social justice, and not by pounding it into my head, but just by the way they lived their lives and what they said. I've had so many opportunities in my life to work for social justice. When I was in college, I was involved in lots of political campaigns. Out of law school, I was fortunate to get the opportunity to work at the Western Center on Law and Poverty, where I worked on issues related to educational rights of handicapped children. After that, I had the incredible opportunity to serve as the lead staff person at Bethesda. And at that time, we were a very small little organization. It's grown to be now one of the foremost providers of legal services in the country. And at Bethesda, I had the opportunity to work on behalf of tenants, protect tenant rights, Holocaust survivors who were denied their benefits, seniors who were overlooked and forgotten. And then the people of Los Angeles had the judgment or the misjudgment to elect me to the State Assembly. Got to meet this guy over here, a member of the council, Tom Umberg, one of my heroes. And in the Assembly, I had the opportunity to work on behalf of those who were disadvantaged. Got to work to pass legislation on gay rights, and Justice Bedsworth, your leadership on that issue is something that was important to the effort that we made in the legislature on employment equality. So I salute you for that. And then after serving in the legislature for 4 terms, I really made it. I got the job my parents always dreamed of for me. I became a judge and had the good fortune of being assigned to the juvenile court in Los Angeles. I was actually advised to go there by the dear former Justice Paul Boland, who I know many of you know and loved as I did. And Paul told me that was the place for me, and he was right. And at the juvenile court, I had the good fortune of working with Mike Nash, who is the presiding judge for nearly a decade in Los Angeles and continues to work on those issues. So I've been so fortunate that admonition from my parents to strive to achieve social justice and work for social justice has been something that I've had the opportunities to reach in my life. But I have to tell you, of all of those activities, the highlight was being here in this room as a member of the Judicial Council, because this is the group that is most responsible for achieving and assuring access to justice for all in our state. You're not the only ones. Clearly, it takes many people in all sorts of walks of life, but none are as important as the work of the Judicial Council. It's sad that we all know that many people of all political stripes in our country today question democracy and question our nation's commitment to democracy. And I know we have 3 branches in our system, but it's my belief that the judicial branch is the one that is most important to maintaining and preserving our democracy, because it's in the judicial branch that more members of the public encounter our government and our democracy. We heard the words earlier about the new juror instructions and all the jurors that spend time in the court system and individuals who are parties in the court system. This is where the average Californian and the average American actually encounters their government and their democracy. So assuring their access to that court system is the absolute most important thing that we can do. So I am back to where I started, to thank the council and the Chief Justice for this award. It does mean the world to me, and I wish you all the strength and the courage to continue doing the work that you do, to maintain and advance access to justice in the state, to help preserve the independence of a free judiciary without political pressure based upon the merits of disputes. And this is why my service and my receipt of this award means so much to me, as it does, I know, to my fellow honorees, who I'm especially honored to be here today with, Justice Bedsworth and Melissa Fowler Bradley. I'm thrilled to be a part of the record of this award at the same time as each of you. So thank you all so very much.